Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I did a actual video, so I was like, why not do a video since my family is not here? I got the house to myself, chilling, and just give y'all a little bit of an update on me. If you hear anything in the background, that's my fan, something that's on every day, all day. My body temperature is just always at an all-time high now that I'm pregnant, so that thing is on all the time. This video is not so much an update about the pregnancy. I really don't have anything new to say about my pregnancy, and I'm grateful for that. My baby is doing good. He is progressing the way that he should. I've taken all the tests that are given to you to let you know if there are, I don't know the appropriate word, so excuse me if this is inappropriate, but the test that you take to check for any abnormalities, so that way you can, decide how you want to proceed with your pregnancy depending on the results. So I've taken all those tests. All those tests came back negative. Again, the baby is progressing the way that he should. He's growing the way that he should. Everything is good. Like, how many different ways can you say that? And I'm so grateful that I can sit here and say that, and not have anything negative to say. The baby is healthy. I'm healthy. So pretty much it's just smooth sailing, downhill from here to the finish line. So I'm very happy to report that. Very grateful to report that. I do have a test coming up, an ultrasound test coming up to, gosh, I just be forgetting everything, to check the growth of the baby, I guess like the bones, and just to, a deeper dive into the growth of the baby to see if everything is going well in that area. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly what it's for, but yeah, so I have that test coming up. So, but other than that, everything has been going good. As some of you may know, I have thyroid issues, so I take a test every month for that. We're still trying to get that under control. I'm still on the high end, but it's not anything concerning considering that I'm pregnant. So it's to be expected, but still something that we're trying to get under control at the same time. So I'm taking my meds every day for that, but nothing concerning, nothing, alarming or out of the ordinary or anything like that, I need to be worried about. So yeah, in that regard, everything is good. What I did want to talk about though, or what I am going to talk about, is how my pregnancy has been affecting me. In terms of like cravings and, different things like that, all that normal stuff that women talk about that they go through when they're pregnant. I don't have anything to say about that either. Excuse me. I don't have any weird cravings. This pregnancy has just been good. It's just been smooth. Like, I don't throw up. I haven't thrown up, but I didn't throw up with any of my other children. So like, I'm not throwing up. I'm not having morning sickness. I'm not having any weird cravings. I'm not like this is just a smooth pregnancy for me. With the exception of I still get tired, but nowhere as near as much as I was getting tired when I was in my first trimester. So, but of course I still get tired. But other than that, everything is good. But what I am going to talk about is how my pregnancy has affected me in terms of just my security and the way that I look. Of course, when you get pregnant, your body slowly but surely goes through these changes. Everything starts to change in terms of size, in terms of color. And for me, I haven't been pregnant in almost 10 years. So I haven't had any of these experiences since then, but it wasn't like I didn't expect it. But having been pregnant in such a long time, the changes to my body, affected me so much so that I was starting to project onto my husband. I was feeling as though he didn't desire me enough. He didn't find me attractive. I didn't turn him on. I didn't look good. At times I felt like I caught him looking at me with a look of disgust on his face. I didn't like to walk around him naked because I'm hot. I'm hot all the time. So for the most part, that's how I'm walking around. But at one point, I didn't feel comfortable with doing that because I didn't want him to see my body, because I didn't want to see his facial expressions, because I always thought that he was looking at me some kind of way that was undesirable. And that was really hard for me. And that was another reason why I really didn't do too many videos about my pregnancy back then, because I was going through a lot dealing with that mentally, emotionally. I was going through a whole lot. And that's on top of all the things that just come with being pregnant, you know, the hormonal changes and the things that you go through. So I was dealing with a whole lot. But that really, really, it depressed me to the point to where, like, I was just not in a good space. Like, this started happening like 2.5 months in. And it just really started tapering off, maybe like, I want to say 3 weeks, going on a month now, that I started, like, you know, feeling like myself and not feeling so insecure. It was just horrible. There was nothing that my husband can do to reassure me that he was still attracted to me. Nothing. Like, everything that he attempted to do, tried to do, it was just not good enough. You know, I would always find a reason to make him feel like, or I would always find a reason to make myself feel like he's not being truthful. He's not being honest. He's just trying to make me feel good. He's just trying to make me feel better. I wanted, even when I didn't want to be intimate with my husband, I still wanted that with him, just to make me feel like he wanted me. Like, it was just so weird. It was so crazy. I cried so many nights. I used to cry almost every day. It put a real strain on our marriage, a real strain. It put a strain on our family, you know, because I was just in this really dark place of just not feeling good about myself. Mind you, I'm pregnant. So it's like, I'm looking at it from a very, very superficial standpoint, if you will. You know, for a woman to be pregnant, you know, it's something that's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful than a pregnant woman. You're walking around, you're carrying life in you. Like, it's so much deeper, and it's so much, it's so spiritually connected, you know. And for me, I made it so surface level and so superficial, and just so, you know, I would look at my body in the mirror and just be just so disgusted with myself, and just looking at my breasts and how my breasts have gotten bigger and darker, and everything is just expanding and everything. And I'm just feeling like I'm just walking around just looking like this big old just blob. Like, I just could not appreciate what is really happening with my body. Like, I didn't look at my breast as a form of, you know, this is what I'm going to be feeding my child. You know, this is like, just nothing about my body I looked at in a way that I should have been looking at it from a spiritual standpoint, in terms of how, you know, this was a connection with my baby, and how everything, I just wasn't connecting the dots in that way. Everything was all about being desired and being wanted, and, you know, just a very selfish way of looking at things. And I just dumped all that stress onto my relationship, my marriage, onto my husband, just constantly making him feel like he's not doing enough, and just, you know, just feeling like this was his fault. And just, it was just really, really bad. It was just really, really bad. I was just really in a dark space, because of how I looked, and how my body is changing. And, you know, at some point feeling like my husband was cheating on me, and, you know, if he looked at other women, and it was just terrible. It was just horrible. And then it affected me from a standpoint of I've never been that type. Like, I know I'm not the finest thing walking. I'm the finest thing in my world. And as women, we all should feel that way about ourselves. But I know I'm not the finest thing walking around. But I've never had like insecure issues about my looks. So to even have to deal with it from that standpoint, it was just like, it was a lot to deal with and a lot to take in. And it was a lot. It was a lot. And it just puts such a strain on my marriage. It puts such a strain on just our family, our household, period, in terms of energy. And if I wasn't in a good space, then pretty much everybody else around me is walking on eggshells because they don't want to cause this eruption or disrupt the little peace that they had, because I'm lashing out at everybody because I'm feeling some kind of way about myself because I'm pregnant and I feel like my body looks disgusting and I feel like my husband isn't desiring me, he's not touching me enough, he's not making love to me enough, it's something wrong, he's cheating on me. Like, I'm going through all these different head trips, and then not to mention, never mind the stress that I'm putting on our son. And then so that was another thing that I was stressing about, like, oh my gosh, I can't control this. I'm stressing our baby out. At one point, I stressed so hard that because I'm at the stage now to where I could feel little flutters. And so at one point, and this was actually the turning point for me as well, to where I was like, I'm going to fight this shit with everything within me. I at one point felt like I wasn't feeling our baby flutter as much anymore. And so I started stressing off of that, thinking I did something to the baby. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. And that was definitely a turning point for me. And when I changed my energy and when I changed the way I was looking at things and feeling about things and so on and so forth, I started feeling my little man flutter again. But at that point, when it got that real for me, when I thought that I had, affected the baby, that's when I made even more of an effort to fight the feelings that I was feeling and the thoughts that I was having, because I knew that it was just, it was nothing really more to it than to just fight and to really connect with more that these feelings that you're feeling and what you're thinking is not real. This is just all about how you feel about yourself, and you're going through these little differences and you're going through these little changes, and that's okay, but it's not real. Don't make this reality so much so to the point to where you're like falling apart and it's affecting your household, it's affecting your marriage, it's affecting your relationship with your kid. Like, don't do that. And so, I really thought more than twice actually, about making a video like this and sharing it, because it's like, it's like, I don't want to share this, with the world, but I'm like, there may be other women who feel this way, and don't have the courage to speak on it because they feel like maybe people won't understand, it's going to make them look stupid, so they don't want to be judged, so on and so forth. And so I'm like, this video probably, even if it's just one woman, like, you're not alone, it's completely natural to feel like, oh my gosh, to feel some kind of way about your body as it begins to change on you. But don't take on those feelings and those thoughts as reality. Don't, because it would truly destroy your peace and just the energy around you. So finally, I am at a point to where I'm still bothered. Don't get me wrong, I'm still bothered, but not like I was, so I'm so happy that I have moved through that stage of my pregnancy, because it was really making my pregnancy a horrible experience. And who wants an experience like that to be horrible, right? You're growing life inside of you. You're about to bring a life into this world with the person that you love, and in addition to your family. And so this the whole experience is supposed to be beautiful, with the exception of the stuff that you go through that makes it a challenge in terms of hormones and all the other symptoms. But you don't want to be stressed out and depressed dealing with shit like that. But that was my experience. So that is an update on how I've been doing with my pregnancy. Everything is good as far as the test. I'm getting back on track emotionally and mentally. And yeah, I'm in a good space. I'm in a good place. And I just look forward to moving right along and making it to the finish line. All right, so that is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next.